What's up, Broncos country? How we all doing today? Welcome to another episode of Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS, where the Broncos are on a 2-game win streak. They are not going to lose this weekend. Literally, they cannot lose this next weekend.
3-game win streak.
3 weekends in a row, guys, of just feeling good about the Broncos, right? We want to hear what you all have to say. We want to hear your comments, your questions. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Also, good for the Broncos country. The Vegas Raiders are literally crumbling and falling apart before our eyes. Everything we expected to happen from the Josh McDaniels era is repeating. And so we're just going to sit back and enjoy this and laugh. But I got John and Spotty with me. We might have a couple others. If they love us enough later on, they might hop on. We'll see. But you're definitely going to want to stick around because John has got you covered. Nope.
Oh.
Apparently, John is going to tell you how to fix your webcam when it goes down like this. He knows the perfect thing for how to fix technology when it goes down. So we will work with that. Go for it, Spotty.
Hey, I love it, buddy. Like, look at, it gives Cav Dan this mystique, when it's just this kind of logo, right? So, you can always count on John to help you fix your webcam, especially with his OnlyFans series.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We all know about the OnlyFans series.
Well, hey, guys, sit back, relax. I'll be back here in a moment as well. So you can see my lovely face, but we got some awesome things to talk about. So as always, go Broncos, and here we go.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news.
Well, hey, guys, I'm going to let Spotty and John take this one away while I work on figuring out what the hell is going on over here. But it's going to be fun. We got some Broncos things to talk about. So, John, just take it away, man.
All right, buddy. Good luck with whatever's going on. I feel like if AI generated Kevin, it would just be the Orange Weekly logo and just have the circle ring of his voice coming out.
A talking logo.
How's it going, buddy? Long time no see.
Oh, man. I'm still excited, people. You know what? Like, this whole entire week, people. Yay!
Good job. I'm so proud of you, Kev. This is your first show, right?
It is. Woo-hoo. Anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm so excited. So many people have been reaching out to me this week. They're like, we know you're over the moon right now. So congratulations. And of course, it's absolutely just, I'm still in a slight daze after the game on Sunday. I mean, me and Jared got on real quick after the game, and we were still not sure if the NFL was going to call a penalty that took the game away from us. They're going to be like 27-point unsportsmanlike for playing Taylor Swift at the end of the game. The Chiefs win. So I'm really happy that it didn't happen like that. But John, tell me, man, how are you feeling? I know we talked a little bit.
Still over the moon. I mean, we got to talk Sunday, David or Spotty and Jared and I. And that was right after the game. I feel like our emotions might have changed since then a little bit. Me and Kevin got to talk about it Monday, after a night's sleep. I am curious, Spotty, if these few nights of rest since the win, any changes in thoughts, anything that's come to light with rest that you can think of? Nope. Same reaction as right after the game.
I mean, you want to bring me down now. We talked on Sunday, and 12 of 19 is not exactly. Me and Jared said this like 3 times. If you would have told me that our quarterback went 12 of 19 for less than 150 yards, I would have told you that the Chiefs smacked us down and we had the worst loss of all time, opposed to the best Chiefs victory we've had in probably 15 years. I'm still not on the train, man. We're having a really, really, really weird conversation in the fact that the Broncos defense was the best thing that was on the field for either team on Sunday. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should be pepping up Russ for not turning over the football. Did he turn over the football?
No.
He had that fumble.
Oh,
that's right.
That's right. Who would have thought that Russell Wilson would have been relegated to Alex Smith duty out there?
I mean, yeah, that's valid. You say all that, but he's at near the top of the league in quite a few stats. Touchdowns to interception ratio. I mean, I think he's number 1 in the league in that. Yeah, he's high up there. He's in the top 5 for QBR or something like that. I don't know. I saw a list. There's like 4 different categories, relevant categories. Let's put it that way. And I think he gets hated on a little bit too much.
We're starting with the negative, right? Like that we have to start with the negative to kind of muddy the water a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
you're starting with the negative. I'm starting with positive.
You noticed that you didn't say anything about those yards, right?
Yes, I understand that his yardage is low. He has had 4 games with under 200 yards, I think, this year.
Yep.
I believe it's Mr. Matthew Berry who saved my fantasy life many times. That says it every year in his annual beginning love-hate article. He has the ability to take a set of stats and compare them against other people and absolutely make the one stat sound like the most amazing player ever. And that's exactly what we've been doing with Russell Wilson's stats for the last like 3 weeks. You're like, I actually did this a couple of weeks ago, I think, to you, John. I took Kirk Cousins stats and Josh Allen's stat to prove that either Josh Allen or Kirk Cousins either Kirk Cousins is good or Josh Allen is bad. And you're like, well, but.
Hey, Kirk Cousins was having a good year until he got hurt.
It's true.
I tore my Achilles. Rest up, dude. But back to the Broncos. You can take whatever stat that you want. I'm really happy that Russ hasn't thrown many interceptions, but most of the time, throwing interceptions are downfield.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when we're going to start throwing more. The last 3 games, 2 of them we've won, we haven't been throwing the ball. I mean, the offense looks totally different from the start of the year. So I don't know what's going on there. But hey, speaking of fantasy, Russ is top 10 and for fantasy.
There you go.
So is Sam Howell.
He's actually 11th because I just picked him up. That's all I know that.
Not top 10. That's a difference.
That's a difference. Saying, what did you guys think about the Broncos game plan, though? Because maybe throwing the ball wasn't actually in the game plan.
Yeah, we talked about.
So Monday. For me, part of what I was going to ask you, and I think you're spot on with all the concerns about Russell throwing 12 for 19 and under 150 yards, all that stuff. But if that's a game plan, I'm more than okay with it. I think the big intent is we have got to keep Mahomes and the Chiefs offense off the field. We have got to run the ball. And so that's where you're seeing, even on like 2nd and longs, we're running the ball, right? But then we're using that throwing game majority, a lot of the time, to pick up those first downs and keep running the ball and eating up that clock. So, I'd like to see it a little bit more balanced, right? When we're playing teams that maybe aren't as tough as the Chiefs, right? Or as notorious as, offense as the Chiefs have. But, I think if that was the game plan and the run game worked well enough to essentially put us in that position to win, and then just had our defense go out there and take care of business, right? So I'm not concerned about it, but at the same time, I see exactly where you're coming from. And, at the same time, we're paying a guy $250 million to go 12 for 19. Could we go maybe a little cheaper with somebody, that's going to do the same thing as long as we can rely on that run game? I don't know. But it's interesting to think about for sure.
Yeah, game managers don't get paid the amount of money they would get paid. But I'm gonna get away from my negative because I'm still can't bring me down right now. Because what I want to say is the last 3 games the Broncos defense has played. I don't understand the Dolphins, the Dolphins game versus the last 3 games. We haven't given up. I don't even know if we've given up 40 points in the last 3 games.
No, 19.
19. And
17?
then how many to 15 to the Packers?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was 15.
And then 9?
15 or 17. No, I think it was 17 to the Packers.
Okay.
Anyways, it was less than 20.
Right. So
17, yeah.
Whatever route that we've decided to go, I think we figured out the key, which is funny because this key is very similar to when Tim Tebow was running the offense. It was run the football, and you keep their defense on the field for an extreme amount of time, and you keep their offense off the field, which works in every iteration of the NFL. We know that's the exact same plan that they had against Peyton Manning, all those greats. I might have even mentioned this last week, and 1,000% that's what we did this week. So I got a question. Why is our defense different? What has changed about this defense from this week versus the first 4 weeks?
It's impossible to pinpoint one thing. We were talking about this Monday and Sunday for that matter. No one can tell you. Even look at people on the national media can't figure out what the hell has happened since that Miami game. What makes this defense different? Obviously, having a guy like Justin Simmons back, with his not only his playmaking ability but his leadership, that's huge. We get Baron Browning back. Awesome, amazing, great, yes. But we also had a guy that was in Randy Gregory that was supposed to be be able to do the same things that Browning can do, and he wasn't producing. So I really don't know. I don't know if it's people finally figuring out the Vance Joseph system on this defense or what. And by people, I mean the players, not other teams. But I don't know, because it seemed like for the first 5 weeks that every team knew exactly how to beat us on every single play. And we haven't seen that at least in the last 3 weeks.
I think so. Funny enough, I just did a search, and our very good friend Jeff Legwold from ESPN just did an article on this very thing today. And there's, I wish, we could have him on the show for this question right here because it's perfect. But I think, there's all the soft answers that the players give. After that Miami game, there was a lot of self-reflection. We had to really figure out who we are. And there's some, teams have to do that, right? You have to really come together. You have to figure out, what are we doing? What needs to be fixed? Who's going to step up, right? And have that come to Jesus moment, if you will. But then there's other things, that need to happen from the coaching side of things, like player personnel. So you look at us moving on from Randy Gregory and Frank Clark. That really allowed Benito an opportunity to step up. Cooper too, but we've seen a lot more from Benito, right? So that really provided Benito a chance to step up and generate some pass rush, which we really saw this last week. And that's helped out a lot. We've also moved people like Fabian Moreau was put in place of Amari Mathis. Remember, Mathis was out there and he was just getting burnt left and right.
That's a big one, Spotty.
Yeah. Fabian Moreau.
Mathis out there for a few weeks.
Dude,
yeah, that was killing us. McMillan is, and we were talking about on the post-game podcast, John and I, I was saying, I didn't know this guy existed till maybe a couple weeks into the season. And then I hear his name after a big play. I was like, oh, okay, I've never heard of him. And he does it again and again. And every week I'm hearing his name, I'm seeing his number, very positive things, right? He's also stepping up. So I think what you're seeing is now that we maybe cut some of the fat, maybe people that were starters because of their experience and the money, but they just weren't doing it. And the coaching staff said, these guys are not going to be a part of our future. We just need to get rid of them now and give these younger guys a chance to step up. And the ones that are, several of them are stepping up and really making a big impact. So I think there's those 3-pronged things, the team coming together, players coming back from injury, and then these personnel moves, very smart personnel moves that are paying off as well. So it's not amazing, but when you hold the Chiefs to 9 points in a game, no touchdowns for the first time in 29 regular season games, that's huge. That is huge. And so I have got to tip my hat to the defense and Vance Joseph for as much crap as I've been giving him. There you go.
For once, we were on the side of the streak breakers instead of streak creators.
Yep.
It felt kind of nice to see all the stats. They're like, 29 games since the Chiefs haven't scored touchdowns. Like, or the Pat Mahomes is 12-0 on the road. Now 12-1 against the AFC West. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It feels nice for once instead of being the first team in 100 years to give up 70 points. It's really nice, but I want because of just what I've seen in the first 4 weeks. I'm really just curious if the change for our defense is sustainable.
Yeah, that's the big question.
Really quickly,
right?
before you answer that, I want to answer Antonio here. First off, welcome to the show, man. We do this normally on Tuesdays, but because of Halloween yesterday, we pushed it back to tonight. We also do it at 7 p.m., but because of people's availability of us moving it to Wednesday, anyway, yes, we are here every week. Broncos content. I'm doing a lot of Italian talking with my hands, and Spotty is feeling that vibe. But ask any questions you want. You are definitely allowed to talk to us. We're not going to yell at you unless you say something stupid like "Go Raiders." Then we're just going to mock you for having dumb opinions. Then So welcome to the show. Everybody is always welcome. Our whole thing here. So for people who definitely watching this for the first time or maybe not seen this when we're live, our whole thing here, guys, is we want to talk with you all. Orange Weekly was founded on the premise of we want to connect with Broncos fans, and there's plenty of other good shows, but they have like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people watching them when they're live, and there's no viewer interaction. So we really try to get to the heart of the matter when it comes to viewer interaction. So please feel free to ask us any question, and we'll try to get to it as best as we can. Sorry, John, go ahead and with your follow-up.
My only
question. He forgot what. Nope, he's gone now. He was so mad that I interrupted him that he said, "Screw you guys, I'm out." Oh no, there he is. So anyway, John, as you were saying, good sir.
That was right on time. That was perfect.
That was good.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
It's
consistency
or sustainable.
Yeah, sustainability.
It's sustainable. Because we've seen two different defenses. The first 4 games versus the last 3 games.
100%. I mean, and that's always the concern after the way this season started. We were ready to give up on this team. We were ready to fire Vance Joseph after week 4. We're like, if he's not getting fired now, he's getting fired at the bye. And here we are talking about how this defense is winning us games now all of a sudden. So what the hell? Do we have a bipolar team here? Or I want to believe that we're finally figuring out the systems both on offense and defense. Offense seemed like it had, like I said earlier, that it had it figured out early on in the season. And they've taken a step back, but I want to believe that the defense is learning and can. I mean, look, our first big test is against the Bills in 2 weeks, so that's the hardest game we have on the schedule, at least on paper. So, that's
but after a bye,
I mean, that's the perfect time to have this game. The momentum, the energy that we have. If we can sustain it into that game, that could be the difference in our season. Quite frankly, how that game goes, even if we lose, but if it's a close game, we look respectable in that game. Like we can carry that on to future games. We have the Vikings after that without Kirk Cousins. Justin Jefferson, I think, could theoretically be back for that game, but who's going to be throwing him the ball? Josh Dobbs is going to be throwing him the ball. The Browns after that, who knows what you're going to get from the Browns? So
exactly,
we're going to beat the Chargers.
That's a home game.
I know that because we always do.
Yep.
We'll split with Chargers. We'll always end up
split. We'll beat them at least once.
So, I mean, you're talking about sustainability, and the question with that ties into, okay, well then what does the second half of the season look like in terms of beatable teams? Because after that Miami game, I would have told you, looking at the schedule, I don't know, maybe the Patriots, maybe the Chargers might give us one just because that's what the Chargers do, but that's it, Yeah. But now 2 wins in a row, 3 wins over the last 5 games, and look, that Chiefs game was close. If the offense performed as well as they did this last week, we'd have won that game too, right? So we're close in these games, and if the defense and offense can figure it out like they have and put these games together, you're talking about a real opportunity I'm not going to say a really good chance, but a real opportunity to go in there and upset the Bills. Then you get the Vikings and the Browns. You keep taking advantage of those things. Man, you're looking at 3 more wins or even going 2-1 over the next 3. Hey, okay. But then Texans, Chargers, the Lions game will be tough, but Patriots got the Raiders again. So we got, if we're playing the same way, I'm thinking you got 4 or 5 more wins on the schedule. And if you're talking about going the second half of the season, going 5-3 compared to 3-5 in the first half, okay. Yeah. That sets us up well for next year.
You talk to the wrong person when you say that, though.
I'm optimistic. I know.
Spotty wants a higher draft pick. Spotty wants that number 1 overall pick.
Oh, heck. I mean, not even just.
They're not.
We're already out of the contention.
Yeah, that ain't
the fact we did not trade anyone tells us exactly that they are going full force second half of the season. There is no tanking. We are not getting Williams unless we trade up and give an arm and a leg and the moon to the Bears or whoever.
Which is fine. I'd like to fall back on the fact that historically we're not very good at drafting quarterbacks.
Exactly. That's why I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
That's why you just every time the Colts draft a quarterback, you go after that guy as the Broncos.
Yeah,
okay.
Anthony
You don't worry about
gonna
drafting quarterbacks.
Bronco.
Just wait till the Colts do it and then bring them over and guaranteed Super Bowl.
Hey, Colts always have to grow up to be a Bronco anyway. So, so you're talking about optimistically, right? I'm saying that worst case scenario, the Broncos are probably staring at 5 wins. Okay, like worst case scenario, and that's going to definitely put us out of contention for any type of. I'd say both of the top 2 quarterbacks, Caleb Williams or May from North Carolina. So at this point, we might as well go for it. I don't like the idea. Thanks, Sean. I don't like the idea of us saying, "Hey, we're putting ourselves in a good place for next year." Like, at least give me the 500.
Yeah.
I guess
that argument for me is that sets us up well for next year.
17 games.
You could get a tie.
9-8.
If
you're
8-8, you want 8-8.
If you're 9-8, 9-8 is the same as 8-9. You're basically 500 on the season.
Yeah.
So.
No, but to the point of the trade deadline, yeah, they're going for it this year, which I appreciate because it was not that long ago where I was starting to believe the conspiracy that we were losing games on purpose to get that number 1 overall pick, and it's turned around very quickly. So it's much more fun to be a fan when your team's actually trying to win games and not lose.
I'll also make the argument that we didn't really have much to trade, and I like the fact that we didn't balk at just everybody trying to give us the dog biscuit. Like the Commanders, we've talked at length about how absolute trash the Commanders got out of 2 very top tier players, and I'm happy that wasn't us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had I can think of like 4 guys on our roster. Well, 5, but like 1 or 2 of those is really not realistic for us to trade because it makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, to your point, I didn't want to see us getting like you said in the group chat, Spotty, a 5th round or a 4th round pick for Justin Simmons. Like, that's a guy you want to build on. Yeah, he's not like in his first or second year or anything like that, but you also need those older guys to be the leader on the team. So I didn't want to see him leaving. Surtain was never going to get traded. What are we going to get for Surtain that would make sense? It was Judy and Sutton that we thought could be the realistic traded guys, but I mean they're the only wide receivers that had catches on Sunday. So someone's got to catch the ball too.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that? Why? What's going on?
They had 4 catches total.
Hey, but Cortland Sutton, all he does is catch touchdowns.
Hey, Judy had that long catch and the touchdown. Like, that's pretty high efficiency when you're only catching 2 balls. But
hey, you're making the most of every opportunity, man.
Yeah, that's true. But man, oh man, I thought our wide receiver depth was bad, but I didn't realize it was non-existent.
It's non-existent. It really is, especially with Timmy P being out. You lose just such a huge weapon there. Having a big blocking wide receiver that can just also catch the ball and make plays with speed. Like,
help on both.
I just think, as good as Sutton and Judy are, you have to complement them with a Tim Patrick type of player. And when you don't, it makes your wide receiver core, I think, just very one-dimensional. And the depth really starts to impact you there too when you don't have a lot of depth, because previous draft classes just haven't stuck with us. And so we have Cortland and Judy, and that's pretty much it, except for, maybe the last year or two. But
yeah, but what about Mims? Why is Mims not getting a chance here? I don't understand
that. I don't know. That's the one thing where it's
that's the other theory is like,
why doesn't that turn into more opportunity on the field for him?
The other theory was that Sutton and Judy were the only ones out there to try and boost their trade capital, and now that's obviously wasn't part of the plan. So I don't know. I don't know why Mims isn't getting an opportunity.
No, I don't know either, but this is a good point from Antonio, and I think this is the biggest problem I have with Judy, especially because I've heard, people talk about it, and I've seen it in plays several times where Judy just kind of stops. Ball's not going his way, Russ isn't looking his way or whatever. He just stops running his route. He just, he's not constantly trying to get open when the play breaks down or something like that. I don't know. So, I don't know if there's still some just, we need to clean up and play to the end of the whistle and all that stuff, right? But I don't know, man. What do you think?
Does that happen in the NFL? That sounds like more like a high school coach giving that pep talk right there.
It happens. It happened in the Broncos playoff game.
It shouldn't happen consistently.
No, not consistently.
Maybe it's about that relationship and communication too, because all the times, and I know people are gonna hate this, keep harping on the time that Russell was in Seattle. All the times when Russ breaks that pocket, he's rolling out, he's rolling this way, he's rolling that way. Tyler Lockett specifically, in which we were giving Judy like, hey, this could be Judy kind of player. Yeah. He knew that if a fire drill happens, to roll towards the quarterback or roll away with him, or better yet, a lot of times that's when he was running downfield and we were getting a lot of those moon shots from Russell. We're not seeing that at all, and I don't know if it's miscommunicado, or maybe that's just not what they do. Maybe they're not like, hey, I'm not going to be out here running like an idiot, and they're trying to get these plays out there. I'm just going back and back and back. I'm like, I wonder what was the longest pass on Sunday? Maybe 20 yards or something like that. I'm confused on why we don't. Matter of fact, Marvin Mims has probably got the 2 longest pass plays of the year still.
Yeah, that's true. Judy had the one that was like close to 40 yards on, or I'm just guessing on.
Yeah, 39. It was 39. Yeah.
See, told you. I thought for sure that was Mims making that catch, because he has been the only one this year catching the long passes. And so, it was good to see that at Judy, that is still like in his game, apparently. And then Sutton's other pass too. Just thinking of nice catches from the weekend, like over the helmet, like pass interference type catch. That was impressive. But there's only 4 of them to go back to that point. But as we're talking about this for the Chiefs, like, this is a team that almost shut us out, 2 weeks earlier. Like, I think to score 21 on them in a 2-week span is, I think we're not giving enough credit to the Chiefs defense in the fact that we were able to put up 21 points, and it wasn't pretty. We stuck to the run. We ran twice as much as we passed, which I'm glad we stuck to it, and we didn't like totally abandon it like we've done in other games, like just randomly for no reason. So that is one consistency I was happy to see on Sunday.
I agree with you on that, John, and mostly because we forget, with all the turnovers that the Broncos got, our starting field position was the 40 to 45. Every time I turned my head, we were starting in the Chiefs territory. And in this NFL that if you're given plus territory, you're going to make points. And we got 14 points real quick in the first half. And we went real quiet for a long time. Like, that's where I was starting to sweat, man. In the third quarter, we held on to the freaking football. They weren't even getting on the field, which might be lucky for us, because when they sick – half an arm, half a leg. Pat Mahomes wants to come on the field and just throw dimes all over the place, and we kept him off the field for almost the whole entire third quarter. But still, every time we're in plus position. We're in plus position. Yeah. We only scored 14 points in the first half and then 7 in the second half.
Yeah. Well, 2 drives I can think of where we got a fumble recovery at like the 40-yard line, and then we went for it on 4th and 2, and it would have been a 57-yard field goal. You can look at that as a mistake in hindsight. And then the other one, to start the third quarter, we went all the way down the field and put ourselves in a very easy field goal range. And then the Chiefs just made an amazing special teams play to come up with that block. So that's two drives right there that should have been scores. I'm just glad the drives we did score on were touchdowns, and we weren't settling for field goals like we've seen in other
games.
Yep.
Oh, we lose that game if we're settling for field goals. We already know that.
Oh, exactly. Oh, yeah. Look, it was good to see that the Broncos were taking advantage of the opportunities they were given, because that's been a problem for the Broncos in the past. Obviously, you don't expect to get 5 turnovers in a game, right? No. Much less to be +4 on the turnover ratio. Even then, like we were. You got to if you get a turnover, that's huge, because that might be the only one you get that game. So that's why it's so critical to take advantage of that. And so to see the Broncos on, I think, 3 of the 5 put up points with it, they didn't get 3 touchdowns, but they did get points off of those. Was really good. It was 2 of the times, I think one was an interception, one was a fumble recovery. Our offense went out there and went like 3 and out. Right. So that's the problem, right? We need to be a little more consistent. We don't necessarily have to score points on every single turnover, but you can't turn over the ball and then give it right back. That's just a huge momentum killer for your offense. Your defense goes, we just got you the ball, and we're now going right back out there. You have to be able to do something with that. So there's still a lot of areas this team needs to clean up on and improve on. I think a lot of the defense, I think we're seeing that normal bend but don't break defense from Vance Joseph. As long as he, I guess, takes into account players' skills, we're going to do okay. When he doesn't do it against Tyreek Hill, we get 70 points scored against us, So I don't know what epiphany has happened to Vance Joseph, or what changes have been made internally in terms of maybe Sean Payton getting more involved. I don't know. Right. But whatever it is, it's working. It's working.
Are we the only team that does this kind of thing to Pat Mahomes? Would Josie Jewell's the only player to ever intercept him 3 times in a game, and we did that last year? It shows you
Simmons every game. He's had the most interceptions against Mahomes, which is like the most for one player against another player, I think.
Justin Simmons?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, but we play. I mean, it's one of those. Pretty sure Von Miller has the most sacks against Phillip Rivers, right?
Right.
When you play him twice a year,
makes it easy. I kind of want to.
I don't know about easy.
I saw a comment from Steve on there that we need more from our tight ends. I mentioned this on Sunday, and I'm not sure if it's going to play that big of a factor. We have Greg Dulcich that's going to be coming back here, maybe even for the Bills game.
I just looked it up. Week 12.
But better than that. But what happened to Adam Troutman? We might be able to cover the other conversation. Is David's man Hurts has been the one that's been starting at the tight end position, but he's not a receiving threat.
No, and he wasn't brought here to be a receiving threat. Yeah. Troutman, he has familiarity with the offense, right? But
I feel like he disappeared. Has he been targeted in 3 games?
I don't even. Yeah, he wasn't this week. I know that. But to your point about Dulcich, I mean, that's a wide receiver that lines up at tight end, basically. The way he. But I was looking it up before this. Yeah, it sounds like week 12 is the first time he'll have an opportunity to come back, and he's been out. I didn't realize he got hurt his first game back from IR and then was immediately put back on IR. So it's like, can you just stay fucking healthy, man?
No,
and he can't.
Can't do it.
I don't know.
Can't do it. Hey, I want to give a shout out to special teams. It's something we haven't really talked about a lot. But that's a good thing, right? When you don't hear talk about special teams, it's probably because they're doing their job, unless you hear about, big kick return or something like that. This last week, they picked up that muffed punt, got us a really nice turnover for points there. So I think we're ranked like top 10 in the league right now in special teams, according to Pro Football Focus, which huge turnaround from 2 years ago where there was the 31st ranked team, and then about a mile down the list was us, because there's just that much difference between how terrible we were between those two. So, I think, the coach and the plan that Sean Payton's brought in for this special teams unit's really working, really paying off.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We are the worst special teams team for probably the last 7 years.
Oh, trust me. We talked about it a lot on the show in those 7 years as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't
make like every week. It's like they screwed us this way. They screwed us that way. They're doing this wrong. They're doing that wrong.
You never want the special team. Who wants to talk about special teams?
That's like 5 different special teams coaches too. It's not like rolling. It's the same guy all these years. No, it's like somehow.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know, man.
Yeah. No, but special teams coverage has been amazing, and the returning Mims. We talked about he's not getting an opportunity at wide receiver, but he's getting opportunity as a kick returner and take away that Jets game, and he's been lights out this whole year.
Yep.
And then the kicking since week 1, Lutz has been. I think his only missed kick since then was the block kick this last weekend. So
yep.
Which we harped on him so much after week 1.
Yeah, I know. Everyone was like, "All right, when do we cut him?" What was the stupid trade of the year? We traded a 6th or 7th round pick or whatever
for this kicker that can't make a field goal. Yeah.
Hey, MVP.
You know what?
Right now.
It's like, you know what? Just go for it on 4th down every time. You're probably going to have more of a chance to score than if Lutz is out there. But he turned it around.
I mean, we won the Packers game by 2 points, and we kicked, I think, 5, 6 field goals in that game. So
he was huge.
We don't have one of these wins without him. That's for sure.
Yep. No, it's awesome, guys. Let's see from comments. Badoo. So we talked about number 89, Brandon Johnson. He's on IR, looking like he's not going to make it back.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to find that one. I don't know if it's short term or season ending IR, but I hope he's back because he's one of those receivers that he doesn't show up all the time, but when he does, it seems like it's big plays. So I hope he's back.
Sean.
Yep. I want to talk about this. Yeah. Hey, Kareem Jackson comes back after the Bills game. Who do you want to see? Who do you want to? Look, when we come to next year, are we going to try to re-sign Kareem Jackson again, or do we want to say, hey, PJ Locke, this is your job now?
Now, Caden Stearns.
I don't think so.
Caden Stearns, it was his job to lose, but they literally said that the only reason Kareem Jackson was a 1A, 1B situation because that vet feeling. And who would have known? He tore his pectoral muscle.
Dang.
Stearns?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I remember what the injury was.
It's
I know he's out for the year. He's out for the year.
One of those super pectoral, what? That's a crazy one, but honestly, he just missed the season. He'll be back. That's not an explosive kind of injury. You might want to check me on that. But the differences have been PJ Locke, Foster Moreau, and I don't even know where McMillan came from, which I want to apologize. I've been calling him Nate McMillan, which was a Indiana Pacers player. Pretty sure his name.
I think that's yeah.
Different guy.
Yeah. Way, crossed wires inside the old mine here, but the man has been. I don't know. Just everybody stepping up out of nowhere. It's been Nick Bonito, who were people like, okay, cool. He struggled all of last year
as a rookie. He wasn't doing anything.
He didn't do diddly squat.
And nothing last year. And then he was even kind of struggling in the preseason. And then, Nick Bonito made it so that Randy Gregory, we could give him up for, I don't know, what did we give him up? A 5th, 6th round draft pick. Apparently for the Broncos, those 5th, 6th round draft picks are pretty good picks when you got guys like even Jonathan Cooper jumping on that play on the ball. You get Baron Browning back, who's still a 3rd round. He might have been a 3rd round pick.
I think he was a 3rd.
Jonathan Cooper. There's been a lot of stepping up from players where I'm like, where did you come from, first off? And second off, did it just the Broncos have that juice? You know, they got that MJ sauce back there for random strangers coming off the field to play defense.
What juice are you referring to?
They got the sauce. They got that juice. You know what I'm talking about? The little water bottle says MJ.
Oh, you're talking about Space Jam?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Do we have that? Have we looked into that? Has anyone looked into that?
I haven't.
Someone needs to look into that and see if that's like outside the locker room or inside the locker room, I guess.
They're low-key drafts, I think. They're like low-key draft picks. Like it's what us when it comes to undrafted players.
Well, it's hard to have a high-key draft pick when you trade all of them for Russell Wilson.
That's true.
Next year, man.
No, we got a first-round pick next year. Unless, hey, maybe we'll trade it for what?
No, they're not going to trade it.
Defensive coordinator?
No,
man.
No,
I don't care. They can be the best defensive coordinator in the world. You know, I'm still not sold on Sean Payton to this day.
I don't think there's ever been a trade for a coordinator.
I don't think so either. That'd be weird. But question there for you, Spotty, and John too. But I know we were talking about this before you hopped on. Was what does Vance Joseph have to do to save his job this year? Because, like you said, after the Miami game, before that, people were already on the fence about, is this experiment going to work out or not? After that game, everyone's ready to say, get him out of here. And now we've held the Chiefs to 19, or what was it? Was how many in the first game?
19 in the first
19
one,
and 9.
19 and then 9. So, I mean, we've held them to that and broke their touchdown streak. We broke their win streak. We're 3 out of the last 5 games have been wins. Like, what do you need to see from Vance Joseph to even consider the possibility of him coming back?
Man, I like before this game, and if we would have made moves at the trade deadline, I would say just him keep doing him, and we could lose the rest of the games. I'd be happy.
Yeah.
But I honestly, if the game plan to beat the Buffalo Bills might actually be the exact same game plan to beat the Chiefs. So I would say if he has the ability to beat the Buffalo Bills, the man probably has a job next year.
Yeah.
And I know we want to say, okay, if the Broncos in with this season, Matt, let's say it's just a close game with the Buffalo Bills and they don't drop 50 points. Okay, because if they drop 50 points, that man and Josh McDaniels can, pack their bags
Be hanging out together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Spend time job hunting.
If it's like a closer game or like the Bills score, say 28 points or less, and then we're able to carry that into those other games, Vance Joseph is the defensive coordinator for the Broncos next year. Now, if for whatever reason we don't realize that we have the exact plan of attack to take on Buffalo, outside of the fact that the Chiefs don't have a wide receiver to scratch a name at, but also we don't have to cover tight ends like we did then. Like the Chiefs never get into that because we got too much time to talk about that for the next couple weeks. I'm saying, man, we've got it. If he puts up a good showing, and then the Broncos probably go from being 31st and maybe even to the top 19th to 20th in defense.
So, I mean, I totally agree with you, man. Part of the issue that the team has been having for all these years is the turnover in the coaching staff, right? You just look at what we did through offensive coordinators alone. Even when we were when we did bring back a head coach, the offensive coordinator was cycling out. And so the question is, do we want to really ride with this guy? And the stigma of, we basically lost the worst game in NFL history under his, direction on the defense side. So, he has a lot of ground to cover. I think he's moving in the right direction. Like Antonio said, he said he was going to fix it, and it's starting to look like he has. I'm not going to say confidently he has, because we need to see repeat performances. How does the team come out of the bye week? Are they still focused? Are they energized? Are they motivated like they are right now? And then you're going to have that conversation. To me, there's going to be a lot of people that are unhappy if we bring him back. But to me, I would say Sean Payton's doing that for a reason. We have continuity. I think he's probably still on some sort of a short lease that if, things start going south on the defense, we may not wait around. But I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see what they do there.
Yeah. I mean, if you say a lot of people are going to be unhappy if we bring them back, guess what fixes that? Winning games. They're not going to be unhappy if we're going
there
the
you
rest
go.
of the season if they're playing the same way that
That's fair.
they've been playing
That's
these last
fair.
3 games. And I'm not entirely sold yet. You know, it is only a 3-game stretch. And yeah, like Spotty said, it was one of the worst losses, if not the worst loss, I guess you say, Kev, in NFL history. But another thing that you said, Spotty, was going from the 31st ranked defense. The fact that we're not the 32nd ranked defense, that's how bad the first half of the first quarter of the season was, that it's actually a pretty big win that we're not number 32 right now.
Do you want to know what? Let's see. No, Pro Football Focus still has us ranked 32, which is weird.
Oh, damn it! I held on to the Spotty's comment. But yeah,
not by much. I mean, this is a team that's turning it around, and when you're holding opponents to under 20 points, consistently, that's going to do. That means your defense is performing well. The stats are going to follow along with it. Your offense is going to have a chance to win games, and you're going to be looking pretty good.
Wait, I want to make a comment though. Most of the reason why we're at 32 on Pro Football Focus is because it's all about yards allowed.
Oh yeah, true. Okay. And granted, we've been
really bad. 400 rushing yards in one game.
Yeah, dude, what was it? Almost 700 total yards with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And then the Bears, even in that game win that we had against the Bears had a lot of total yards. So yeesh. I'm saying right now to get to the top like 25, gotta knock.
We got that work cut out for us. Yeah.
Well, I think if you break it down into seeing how we, where we fall in the rankings in the first half of the season and then the second half of the season, right? Yeah. Okay, we're finally turning things around. We're getting things figured out from, like Antonio said, new head coach. I won't say new defensive coordinator. So, there's the arguments there. And so when the team's coming together, okay, now let's look and see how they perform compared to everyone else. Let's take away those terrible games to start the season where we gave up the 400 rush yards and things like that, those outliers, and see where we fall. Because I think that's going to be the indicator and the expectation, the bare minimum expectation for next year.
For me, I think we're going to find out pretty quickly. We have 2 weeks to prepare for this Bills game. And, that's the hardest offense that we play the rest of the year. So, I think we're going to figure out if this is for real or not in that game. Yeah. And I said earlier that this game is very pivotal for the rest of our season, but it's probably pretty pivotal for Vance Joseph's job to go for next year. Because I think the fact that it is a job today it probably means he's probably sticking around for the rest of the season at least.
Yeah. Now, can I flip that a little bit? When are we going to start to put some pressure on Sean Payton for his offense? Because I'd say the Broncos defense has showed up the last 3 weeks. Let's say the next couple of weeks they continue a little bit on this path. I know it's really hard to keep something up like this, but if the offense doesn't continue to show up, at what point do we put on a pressure on him saying, because it's real easy right now for him because he gets to point the finger at Russell Wilson and say, Russell's not doing it. But it's like your offensive line isn't blocking anybody and your wide receivers, your running backs are your best wide receivers right now. So, how many weeks do we give Sean Payton? Are we just going to let him go for the whole year? If the Broncos, they're like, well, because we're like, oh, the Broncos offense is ranked high enough.
Yeah, well, that's all we've been asking for years. So,
well, I think that's what like we're saying with Vance Joseph. It depends on wins, right? To me, what I'm looking at, if you have games where your defense is keeping the other team to under 20 points and you're losing those games, that is you're putting a ton of pressure on Sean Payton. If your defense is holding them to under 20 points and you're maybe getting 21 or 22, just enough to win, it's, people aren't going to look at that, I think, as critically and start putting pressure on. So what I'm seeing here is we've had 2 games this year where we did not, or we allowed, less than 20 points, but we still didn't win. So that was the first game against Vegas and then the first Chiefs game. But then Green Bay game, we won that one. And then this last week, we won that one. So yeah, they're not amazing performances by an offense, but it's doing enough to score points. So I think, again, that's where the discussion and the debate's going to be like, well, they're doing enough, and so do we really want Sean Payton to be making drastic changes, or like, what more can you ask from the guy? We're winning games. I don't know. It throws a wrench into it when you make a very valid point that I don't think we should be settling for an offense that scores an average of 20 to 24 points. We should be getting up where.
Imagine saying that a year ago at this point, Kev.
Yeah, right. I know, right? Well, no, but even then, like, I'm not saying, like, at any point, I'm like, I'm not going to set like that's improvement, but that's not where you want to end up. You're not going to say, cool, we're averaging 21, 22 points a game, and we're here. We've reached our peak. I'm happy with where we're at, right? Sure. We want to be getting to the point where we're developing a very dangerous offense coupled with a defense that's going to, ruin your day at the same time. So I don't know, man. I'm saying I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
Okay, Dan, what's that Pro Football Focus ranking on the Broncos offense?
This is going to hurt, isn't it?
Well, while you're looking that up, back to my point earlier about the Chiefs defense being better than we're giving them credit for. This is the first time that a team
16.
has scored
16.
Just cut me off. That's cool. Thanks, Kev. Great. Couldn't wait till I finish my sentence to
classic John move.
Here we go again. No, I'm just kidding. But first time this year that the Chiefs have allowed 20 points in the game. So, I mean, at least we finished drives. We got in the end zone when it counted. That's all I'll say about that.
Jared here. Are they doing enough?
Jared, why are you in the comment section and not on the screen here, buddy?
But and I can hear him saying it in his voice. Are they? Really? Are they? Yeah, I'll do it for him. He's not wrong. So to me, there's a difference between doing enough to win a game and then doing enough because you want to be a championship winning team and you're going to be dangerous every single week. Not okay. I don't want to be at the point where cool, our defense is going to do their job this week, but I hope the offense does something more than put up a touchdown and a field goal in a game. So they have a long way to go on the offense, I think, is the question. And to me, I'm ready to put pressure on Sean Payton. But when you come off a 2-game win streak, you're not going to hear it from the public or the press. You know
what's crazy, though? We're ranked 16th, and we haven't played a full game of football with our offense. Like, we 100% have been playing halves. We played in the first half. Against the Bears, we played the second half. If we're in 16th, like how it just create consistency. If we can create consistency, then we're not even talking about this. We're talking about a Broncos team that's 5-3, okay? And then we're like, oh, damn, look at this. We might be able to clinch a playoff spot by week, 16 kind of thing. But we haven't been able to be. The Broncos defense, which is wild, I'm going to say this, has put 3 full games together.
Yeah.
That is wild.
They really have.
Okay. 3 full games. And the Broncos special teams, I'm going to give them, they put all the games together. Heck yes to the special teams. I'm going to give a good thumbs up for them. All right?
What about the missed extra point in week 1 and missed field goal in week 1?
Bro, I'm going to harp about extra points, dude. We're going to harp about.
We lost that game by 1 point.
Will Lutz is the reason we beat the Packers, man.
He made up for it.
He made up for it.
Yeah. But so the Broncos offense have not put together a freaking full game, man. That's all I want to see. Maybe I'm just a little salty because Sean Payton was supposed to be the messiah for Broncos football, and the man has came in and honestly not looked much better than John Gruden did for the Raiders. All right. So I said it, and that's not a very popular thing, but he looks like an old man that was in a booth for a long time whose offense hasn't caught up to the NFL.
And you know what? I would have agreed with you 3 weeks ago. Well, up until 2 weeks ago. And we have 2 wins in a row. I think it's not the offense. You're right. They haven't ever put a full game together yet. And to Jared's point, the whole team has not won a game, and the whole team has lost a game. I will say the Jets game was a solid team loss there. But Come on. Where'd this negativity come from? I thought we were doing so good, keeping the positive vibes. We started out negative. We had a good run there, and then now all of a sudden we're back to the negative vibes.
Well, look, there's something to be said about just
John Gruden. We're gonna talk about John Gruden as the Raiders are collapsing in front of us, and we're gonna compare us.
Which, by the way,
he wasn't there for them to collapse.
I mean, was he not the start of the collapse?
No, I mean that he's been gone for like 3 years, bro. The Raiders are the Raiders of the Raiders of the Raiders.
Yeah. Are you gonna tell me hiring Josh McDaniels wasn't the collapse?
Yes, it was, John. Jared,
give us your take, Jared.
I haven't been following for the last 5 minutes because I've been trying to find my phone to join you guys as I just got home from work. No, I do want to say though that my comment on there was, how come we can't put together a full game like all special teams, offense, defense? Like I'm really so mad. Like it's either our defense is doing the
show when we just beat the Chiefs.
Because we want more, John. You can't give us a little. Okay?
Isn't that just be happy for once?
I'm not settling for mediocrity, John.
But you've gotten a lot of mediocrity in the last 8 years.
Oh yeah. Oh man, but yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. A Chiefs wins, a Chiefs win. I'll take it. But our defense had to bail out our offense on that game. And our special teams did pretty well. That first kick, that first punt return was awesome.
But
But
me and Jared on the same page. He wasn't even listening.
He wasn't even listening. You guys are gelling.
Yeah, we did not settle for field goals. We got 24 points against a Chief team that almost shut us out 2 weeks earlier. Like
short field position, John. Short.
We didn't settle for field goals.
Taking advantage of those opportunities at the same time. I see the argument. I do, but
I understand
they
the
were
argument.
taking advantage of those opportunities.
You guys can't bring me down right now.
that's fine. We're not trying to bring it down. We're all up. We're all up. We just have expectations that we need to fix. We're not up to the point where like we just beat the Chiefs. We're Super Bowl bound. That's all.
Yeah, dude.
We could be.
Oh, come on, Captain. You can't.
Could we?
If
there you go. I just wanted you to say it.
Oh man.
Well, hey, before we start wrapping up, I do want to just pay a little bit of homage to the Raiders and how beautiful of a performance they put on over the last 24 hours. Because it's just been so great to just see it fall apart. And it's like, called it. What do you guys like?
This is like the best week
for the Raiders.
This is the best week in a long time to be a Broncos fan. I'll say that.
No, I'll give it for sure.
Oh, watch the collapse of the Raiders, and then it's because it's Josh McDaniels.
So is he just going back to join Belichick? Is he going to take over for the Patriots next? Like what?
Oh God!
At this point, like who would hire McDaniels and say this is a smart idea after seeing what he's done with two different teams? Clearly did the same exact thing, trade away his players, destroy the team, you can't win a game, and gets fired into the second season.
I tell you what, I hope he gets another chance because it was a lot more fun this time around to watch.
It's going to be even more fun.
Maybe the
Chargers.
This seems like a Chargers move. This seems like a possible Chargers move in the future. And I'm here for it. I love it. I'm so excited.
He can't get another head coaching job, right? Like,
he will.
I know.
No,
I know the NFL really likes to recycle these what do they call them? Quarterback whisperers. Okay, that you notice they throw that a lot out. They're like, he's kind of a quarterback whisperer. Everybody, that's why he's a head coach, and we're all like, ooh. I don't think that's the kind of whispering you want to see.
Yeah, he's not whispering what you think he is.
Yeah,
that's all.
All right, boys.
Right. It's a little awkward.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. How do you think those quarterbacks feel?
Probably not very good. Yeah.
Derek Carr was like, "I want the F out of this."
That's why he left. Yeah. That's fair.
You're talking it was his decision to leave.
Right? The difference between Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo. Apparently, the difference is Derek Carr is better.
Yeah, I mean,
who would have thunk?
yeah, I mean,
Who would have thunk?
Let's
Is Garoppolo
flip a
done
coin,
too?
I think.
You think any team's going to want Garoppolo now?
as a backup.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He can't stay healthy, so you can't expect him to start more than one game at a time.
Hey, dude, you don't have to stay
Maybe
healthy
for a quarter or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's go around some closing thoughts, guys. Before we do, really quickly, bye week this week, so obviously no game day shows, no pregame podcast this week. But next week, we're all going to have our Tuesday show, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. This Bourbon Broncos, no BS. It's going to be awesome. We're going to do some more rehashing of things that just happened over the weekend, and any new Broncos news or updates as they get ready to travel out to Buffalo. And hopefully we'll have some good weather out there for that, as long as it's not like a snow-apocalypse or something, snow-apocalypse, that'll be okay. But an interesting one, because look, here we are in a position where, 3-5 is a whole lot better than 2-6, especially when you're talking about having just beaten the Chiefs as well in a very meaningful way. To win would be awesome, if we won it just the very last second with a field goal, but we just manhandled them that game. From the start to finish, we did not give them really any opportunities. And so that is some really positive momentum and some really great things to see from these guys as we go to Buffalo. But John, let's start with you, man. What do you got for some closing thoughts?
Yeah. So about 2 weeks ago, one of my best friends, other than you guys, of course, is a Raider fan. And we had the conversation about how terrible the Raiders' schedule is and how they could potentially even make it to the playoffs. And because their schedule is so bad, and because they're such a bad team, but wow, I mean, what the chances that this Raiders team could actually make the playoffs? And at that point, the Broncos had one win, and looked like we were fighting for the number 1 overall pick. And how good how much can change in 2 weeks? It's just it's amazing. And today feels fantastic. I couldn't be higher. You guys keep trying to bring me down, but you can't. And let's enjoy the bye week. Let's enjoy a Sunday of football without the stress of watching the Broncos, and go into this Bills game with some confidence.
Yeah, definitely. Jared, what do you think, man?
Okay, so one thing, Antonio posted in the comments, he thought it was a good team fight. I will give you this. The closest team game, the Kansas City game, was probably the closest team game we've seen in a long time. The offense did control the ball. We were running the ball a lot more. We had very good yards on.
No.
I don't know if he's doing this on purpose. If this is a
Our
bit,
defense
or
set
if,
us up.
we lost
that
you.
last sentence again. Your audio cut out.
We heard you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, like, our offense did everything that they needed to do, and to win that game. I just don't know if it's consistent. Here's my problem. I don't want to get I've been hurt before. We've been hurt before, and I'm not trying to be in John's position right now where we go into Buffalo and we lose.
I still need more. I'm not fully invested yet.
I don't want to be that guy where next Sunday just becomes like another
Monday.
season of disappointment. Yeah, next Monday. Next Monday, all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is a new season, new Broncos, and I get disappointed again. I can't let it happen. I need to see at least one more game. If we can go into Buffalo and win that game like we beat Kansas City, I'm gonna be in John's. I'll be there. I will absolutely be like, let's go. This is happening. Second half of the season. Second half of the season's coming in. Let's go. But right now, I'm just like, let's get healthy in the bye week and let's play a full, solid 4 quarters, offense, defense, special teams against the Bills.
Like it. Spotty, what you think, man?
Damn it, Jared. That's exactly like that's why I have to stay, and I have to say these things because I know with the way that the last 7 years have gone that we're going to get ounces of hope every so often and still end up under a 500 record.
Yeah,
I don't want that. Now, if I want to be proven wrong though all the time. No one likes to be right all the time, right? I want to be proven wrong. Can we put together a full game against Buffalo? We are coming off a bye. We are coming off probably one of the most momentum boosting kind of wins that you can get. We haven't beat the Chiefs in 100 years. Okay, like that is momentum.
Yeah, electricity wasn't invented, but the last time the Broncos won.
Yeah, man. Okay, the last time the game was played was between ancient Greek civilizations. All right, like can we put together a full game against Buffalo after taking this momentum and knowing what we need to do to beat them? If we come out and lay an egg, I am going to be so freaking upset.
God, don't even say that. Don't put that into the universe.
He knows it. We all know it.
No, dude, you're spot on. And there was a comment earlier in the chat that I forgot to pull up, but to talk about what it was like at the stadium, even when we were up 21-9, early in the fourth quarter, it's people still were just like, okay, how are we going to screw this up? I'm thinking, how are we going to find a way to blow a 21-9 lead?
Well,
it wasn't, so even with that. Okay. Yeah. But even when it was 21-9, we were like, how, we're going to screw this up somehow.
Absolutely.
So, but it's that hope. It's the continuous just building up of hope, and then they just smash it at the end of the game or whatever, So I'm right there with you, and so that's why it wasn't until the last 5 minutes of the game, after that 4th and 28 failed conversion by the Chiefs, that people were like, "Oh, we can actually be happy now because this is legit going to happen," So that it's killer when you just build up that hope and you just see it dashed over and over again. So. Look, it's a very big challenge. And the one concern that I have for the Broncos is that over the bye week, they don't get complacent, right? They don't say, oh, we just beat the Chiefs. We got this. Like, there's still a lot of work to do. And I really believe, just hearing Sean Payton's comments and post-game pressers and stuff, never happy with, there's always more things to work on. So as long as they keep that mentality up, I think we have a chance, guys. I think we have a chance.
Yeah. So. Let's say it this way. The first time we played the Chiefs, I was feeling the same way going into that Dolphins game. And I had a feeling I was going to be going into this Bills game with that same expectation. And I right now I don't know what's going to change in the next week, but I don't think I'm going to change that feeling.
No, I don't know. No, it will be a lot of fun to talk about one way or the other. So
I'm with Antonio here. I want to have faith. I want to say that they want it. I want to say that they're playing for each other, which I think is what we finally saw. I think at the end of our drunken rampage at the end of the game, we came live and we're talking about them playing for each other and wanting to play for each other, and that was all a big part of it. Like, I want to believe it's all happened. I do. I just don't want to be hurt again. That's all it comes down to.
I don't think we're asking for a lot here. It's either just, if you're going to lose, just go lose. Don't get our hopes up, just go out there and let them get a 3-touchdown lead on us. So we know right off the bat that we're going to lose. Don't keep it close. And then maybe we come back and then you blow it out the end. Like, just,
why are we going back to negativity? Oh my God.
It's a state of,
I tried to bring it back, John. I tried to bring the positivity in.
Look, I will end it on positivity though, by saying, hearing the players after this game and talking about how they wanted to turn this game around, or the season around, they knew how important this game was, not just for the division, not just because it was the Chiefs, but because, like I said, 2-6 is detrimental compared to 3-5, right? So I think they're feeling it. I think they are believing in themselves for the first time in a really long time. And that ties into believing in the system that the coaches are putting forth. They're finally starting to see it develop on the field and pay off on the field. And if they can really believe in that and pull together, you can make things happen, like going on the road to Buffalo and pulling off an upset that's going to really just set up the rest of your season for success. All of a sudden, if that happens, people aren't talking about Broncos being it's okay. Look out for these guys. Like, they've got something cooking. And you're going to want to pay attention to them. So it'll be interesting, and I'm excited for it. So I don't know. Anything else, guys?
I'm just saying 4 and 5 sounds very, very, very good. especially leading to a 5-5. If we can end November around 500, I'm telling you, the season is another monster.
Yep.
And we're going to have some good things to talk about at that point.
Yes, we will.
So, well, Jared, thanks for hopping on the last segment. I do appreciate. I know coming home from work and stuff. Do appreciate hopping on. Spotty and John, as always, you guys are fantastic. For all the people who've been watching, Antonio, welcome for your first time on the show. I hope to see you here. On other shows that we do. Make sure you're all following us on YouTube. That link's scrolling below the bottom of the page there. Subscribe, like, share those videos, and we're going to keep bringing you the best Broncos content we possibly can. So, in the meantime, though, I think there's nothing else to say here other than to end it, as we always do, on a very strong
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Take care, everyone.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go.